Today, Precarious plays
Hades.
What's life without a little pain?
Let me quickly lay down some ground rules. This is easily the best game that I've played this year.
I knew that I could count
Great
on
way
you,
to start.
nephew. So the ungrateful Theseus, the winsome prize he earned was just some chariot, correct? And he was vanquished on it anyway. That's what he gets. Boasting his prize was greater than any in his mortal days. Puh.
So let me explain that really quickly here. There are a number of optional conditions you can impose on a run. One of them is to increase the power of the boss of like the third strata of the game. Poseidon has a beef with that guy, so if you beat the enhanced version of him and then you speak to him, he gives you that.
I think it's funny that Poseidon was throwing shade on a chariot because it's like wheels. Lol.
I know. I think it's probably got to be related to some sort of beef that it's Theseus. It's Theseus.
Right,
So they must have
yeah.
had some sort of beef when Theseus was still alive. So let's idle here for just a minute. I don't want to spend too long just staring at the menu screen here, but it is paused at present.
Okay.
So Hades is an excellent game. This is a file that I've played for like 80 hours because I mainly want to talk about the gameplay to start. I would recommend playing it yourself if you can. Like I'm of two minds. First, I think that there are going to be some narrative spoilers as soon as we go back to the House of Hades. It's going to be somebody's going to be standing in the lobby that will spoil like the main point of Zagreus's quest in this game. But there are also mechanical spoilers that are going to unfold, and it is a game that excels at both. So on the one hand, I think that you should try playing it yourself first. On the other hand, I kind of feel like because of the mercurial nature of the mechanics, you can pick up pieces, but the likelihood that you'll encounter the exact same situation, it makes it a little hard to spoil in that sense. And even if we go back to the House of Hades and you see everybody standing around and get a sense of how the story resolves, so much of it is about how it's slowly presented over time and the slow relationships that you build over the course of, I mean, for me, it's been like 80 hours. And they're still telling me new stuff, you know? That also feels difficult to spoil. It really is a game where every second is this, you're constantly skipping back and forth between a narrative journey and a mechanical journey, and they're intertwined. And that's why, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm starting with the file that I've been playing on, is because it's like starting at the beginning or starting at the end of the story. Man, Poseidon really letting me down right from the beginning. It feels like maybe it can't be spoiled, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta get the fishing in.
Well, because so much of... Yeah. I've been sort of hovering nearby as you've played this game for most of those 80 hours. And every time I look over, some new drama is happening, whether it has to do with game mechanics or little pieces of story that have fallen out as you're walking through the world. And it's funny because you're like, okay, well, we'll just play through it. And a playthrough at this point for you takes maybe 30, 40 minutes tops. Sometimes as little as...
The slowest I ever go, I think, is like 36. Maybe a little longer on account of... I think that the timer is paused whenever you're loading into a new area. Stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, well, this game is like packed. It's like a magician pulling scarves out of a sleeve. It's just ridiculous. It's like...
Yeah, that's one way to describe it, especially if you think of like two very different materials, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's this constant interplay of narrative and mechanics. And it's
So like it's scarves attached to doves attached to another scarf, and then...
I don't know where to start, and I'm nervous about the whole experience because this is going to be... I really want to do this game justice, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it properly while talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
But I want to try because it really is. We've played. I mean, I know that it's an old game, but this is the year that I played or that I saw Minish Cap.
Yeah.
So just competing against how nice Minish Cap is to experience is a pretty tall order.
Yeah, and Minish Cap has been very fun for the both of us for once.
So one thing I'm noticing is that there's definitely some there's some issues with like the input buffering coming through the Steam Link,
Oh, yeah.
where occasionally already I have like dashed, attacked, and then accidentally dashed after the fact, not meaning to, because of a button that I had pressed and then changed my mind about, you know? So there is this slight delay. There's so much to talk about
Okay,
just mechanically
all right.
that I don't know where to start.
How about I funnel you a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay. First, let's start with another game that we just finished playing, Transistor.
Yes.
Because I think... Is story gonna happen, or are we just fighting?
No, this is just a challenge room that I'm not sure if I can do appropriately while trying to speak eloquently on the topic.
What is the name of the company that made
Supergiant.
Supergiant? Okay, so this is another Supergiant game.
Yes,
And
developers of Transistor, Pyre, and Bastion.
And would you say that this is possibly the best game that they've ever made?
I would say, yeah. I would say also that compared to... darn it. I would say that compared to everything else in their library, this is reductive, but I would say that it's sort of like Transistor 2,
Yeah,
speaking mechanically.
which is one of the reasons why...
Oh, bite me.
Hope no one saw that.
No,
Okay.
Oh, the snarkiness of the writing is so good.
I've never failed one of those before. That's not a great sign.
Oh, okay.
And I hate this guy. Okay, no, gotta keep going. Gotta keep talking.
Okay, but you're...
I've already mentally and emotionally prepared myself for having my streak broken. I'm up to like 30, and I don't think it's gonna survive through the recording process.
So we played Transistor, and it was really pretty disappointing, but then you went back later and played Transistor...
Mechanically
disappointing. Yeah, let's be real. It was a gorgeous game, and the story was cool, and all of that. Okay, all that stuff.
And I want to further clarify and say that it was disappointing
Let's make some waves.
only because can't stop moving. Only because the gameplay felt so sort of, I guess, discordant with the way it looked and sounded.
It felt really half-baked in comparison to every other part of it.
Yeah, and it actually, it feels a little worse now having played Hades, which I think has similar ideas executed much more successfully. Mm-hmm. Because I think that playing this, I think that that's probably a pretty good place to start. Playing this made me realize the value of having a much tighter set of core abilities, which are then modified. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, so Zagreus, your protagonist here, always has an attack, a special attack. Come on, game. Always has an attack, a special attack, a dash. Dash, attack, special attack. Oh, and a cast. Mm-hmm. So those are your core functions. And then
I'll hang on to these.
they are modified. Does it pause it right here? Okay, this can give me a second to breathe. So you have an attack, a special attack, a cast, a dash, a call, and a summon. The call and the summon are things that you'll get probably much later in the game. Mm-hmm. Do I need anything from here? Ooh, yes, I do want that. I'm gonna do double chaos. Ooh, chaos.
Such darkness emanates from the world, son of Hades, that I once again did not entirely anticipate you would arrive just now. I suspect even your father must have difficulty keeping track of you through the domain he calls his own.
Thanks for the compliment, Chaos. I think that was a compliment.
I think he was calling you a rambunctious child.
And I'm gonna go for the health wherever I can, just because I think by the time, if I get all the way to Hades right now, I think I'm going to need the extra room for error.
Yeah, your usual don't get hit plan is probably not going to fly on these playthroughs that we're talking over.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should have brought the shield. I tried to pick a weapon that I was comfortable with, and I maybe should have picked the shield or the adamant rail, because I feel like they are a bit more defensive.
Well, if I know you, you'll figure out your strategy for this particular challenge and we'll be fine.
The only problem is it's like, am I going to have to stop talking to figure it out?
Well,
Thus defeating the purpose of the situation. So, as I was saying, having those consistent actions which are then modified, I think it's a better model than the combinatorial craziness that could happen with
Transistor.
Yeah, with Transistor, thank you.
Yeah, and just seeing how good this game can be makes me... The thing with Transistor is that, like, but when we were at the end of Transistor, I think both of us were like, why didn't we like this game more? Because everything about it is usually things that we like.
Right.
Especially you. Me, sometimes, like, when you're starting to deal with...
I'm back, ladies.
Finally. Good job, Red Blood. You made it all this way. But I have got to send you back to Daddy now. Nothing personal.
Just want to point out that this is one of the small frustrations I have with this game.
Yeah.
The bosses can be really swingy, and I feel like Alecto, backed up by both of her sisters, is one of the hardest permutations of this.
So it's not
encounter.
always these
Join
three?
me, Electo. Want me to put in a good word with Father next time so you can come visit us at the house yourself?
Oh, you know, I'd rather have my eyes put out, but thanks for offering. Now, time to head on home.
Very briefly, let me explain how this usually works. So the one in blue in the back, Megara,
Yeah.
she's the default boss here. After a certain number of runs, her sisters might show up in her place.
Uh-huh.
If you engage the Extreme Measures Pact of Punishment, which I'll explain in more detail some other time, it's an optional modifier that it sequentially increases the difficulty of the bosses
Yeah.
for bonus rewards, basically. If you add the Extreme Measures Act, they will all start showing up together in different combinations, and Alecto, with both of her sisters backing up, you'll see, it's a
Did
lot.
we just roll the hardest one?
I think possibly, I don't know, I think that Tsephone, is that her name? I'm not sure if that's how you say her name or not. I've never had to say it out loud before. She is...
Bollocks.
No, it's fine, because I can just stab my way through. It's cool.
Okay, sorry. Watching the combat is making my palms sweat. I can't imagine what it's like playing it right now.
The slight delay is killing me.
I have to say, I decided probably not going to play this game myself because it does appear to be one of those, like... It looks like it would be difficult for me to play, and I get frustrated quickly. And I've already milked a lot of the story juice out of it vicariously.
Oh, please don't call it story juice. That makes it sound really good.
You don't like story juice?
No, thank you.
How about plot blood?
That's much more thematically appropriate. I'm going to have to use Death Defiance on the first boss, which is embarrassing. I don't think that that's ever happened before. The Furies have never beaten me in any run.
Yeah.
Like, they have never sent me back to the House of Hades.
Yeah.
They have caused me to use Death Defiance before, but that's usually a bit of a mark of a bad run.
Yeah. So, anyways, if we're going back to comparing this...
Ha-ha! suck dick. Sorry, that came right down to the wire. That was crass of me. I apologize. I just was not expecting. I don't like Alecto. She's really weirdly like racist.
Dude, I was trying to roll back into formal criticism, and you're like, suck dick. I mean, I suppose this is Hades, but like, come on now.
Oh no, that was 15 minutes?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. The plan was to have Tartarus and Asphodel be an episode, and then have Elysium and Styx be an episode. Mm-hmm. I will pick up the pace and spend less time talking at these screens, right?
Okay.
I'll spend less time with the game paused. But for right now, we're gonna stop right here. I'm gonna collect myself after that battle, because it gave me the jitters. Like, I've got the shakes because I was like, I'm recording this for the internet, and I'm gonna have to use Death Defiance on the first boss, and then I didn't. Alecto, you can go straight to a deeper level of hell.
You can stay
right where you are.
Yeah.